Hello everybody and welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 how-to video. Today we're going to talk about weeds. Weeds have changed a bit since Farm Sim 19. Farm Sim 19 was when we first had weeds appear in the game, and they are a bit more refined and a bit more sophisticated in Farm Sim 22. But before that, this video is brought to you by David Gillespie. Thank you for being a farm baron. So we're here on one of my numerous test saves on Elm Creek. Here at the main farm, we have ourselves a field of canola growing, and it is riddled with weeds. In fact, you can see we still have weeds up here, and I've already done a pass with this weeder, but we still have weeds. We also have weeds over here on this harvested field. Even though we've already done a pass with our weeder. And the same can be said for this canola field over here. We've done a pass with the weeder, but we still have weeds. What is up? Well, as I said in the intro, weeds have gotten sophisticated. We now have multiple stages of weeds. And during any given stage, we could have additional weeds at a lower stage growing. So a weeder is only going to be able to remove the youngest of weeds, and only during the initial growth stage or before the initial growth stage of your crop. So if you're going to use a weeder, you need to be on the top of it. Otherwise, you're going to need to invest in a sprayer. Now here I have one of the weeders, the Aerostar Exact. And using it is pretty simple. We just lower it down, drive across the field. And in Farm Sim 19 land, it would have taken all of the weeds in front of us because they have not flowered. But that is not the case in Farm Sim 22. You can see we're leaving some weeds behind. Now we're getting a fair bit of the weeds as compared to the field below it, but we are still leaving weeds behind. That's because in Farm Sim 22 we have kind of weeds of various growth stages growing seemingly at the same time. So how do we combat this? Well, we need to jump on weeds, and we need to jump on weeds early in order to make sure that we get them all. So let me go and show you another field. We're going to jump around quite a bit today. So I've got another weeder set up over here. And we're going to actually weed, oddly enough, a harvested sorghum field. And if we look through here, it'll be hard to see, but we have weeds in here. So they're a little hard to see, but they're in there. Right? If we look at our overlay says that we have weeds here. It's not that this weeder is any better. It's just these are younger weeds. And if we drag our weeder through here, you're going to see that the weed state is going away. Because, again, these are younger weeds. You can see the weed state is vanishing as we are eradicating these weeds. Now, if I take this weeder over to our other canola field, super fast, you're going to see we're going to have the same results as we had with the other weeder. and that is going to leave some weeds behind. So how do we fix that problem? Well, we use herbicide and we use a sprayer. Because a sprayer has the ability to basically eliminate all weeds, whereas a weeder is only going to work on younger weeds during the initial growth stage or before or before of your crop. So, like over here, we have sugar beets growing, but we have tall weeds. We have big weeds. Our weeder is not going to be able to do anything on this crop for a few reasons. One, the sugar beets are too old, and two, the weeds are too mature. So again, if you're going to use a weeder, you need to get in. You need to get it weeded basically as soon as the weeds crop up. Our sprayer, on the other hand, is going to be able to work miracles. But, as with life, there are always downsides to everything you do. According to the Giants information, herbicide use does come at a slight yield detriment. They don't define what that detriment is, just that it is slight. A small yield detriment with the use of a sprayer. This is the first time I've heard of this. I was not aware of a detriment in Farm Sim 19, so I believe that this may be a new element of gameplay in FS22. What that detriment is, I do not know. I'm sure it's going to take a very patient channel to conduct some sort of testing to really assess what does that truly mean. But as you can see, the sprayer is taking care of all the weeds that the weeder didn't hit. And if we come over here to our sugar beet field, where we have the older weeds, you're going to see that we are going to be successful in getting rid of these also. While this unfolds, let's look at the weeders in the shop. So we got the tools, and then it's always where you can't find it. Weeders. There are 5 main weeders in the game. We have the Aerostar Exacta 600. We've already seen this one in operation. Has a 6 meter working width and is only $9,500. We have the Cropstar 590 Rogard. This is technically a hoe. And we're going to use this exclusively on potato fields. We're going to see that in a little bit. Then we have the Pneumatic Star 900. This has the capability of weeding and seeding grass, oilseed radish, and canola. Then we have the Pneumatic Star Pro 1200. We've seen this in operation. Has a 12 meter working width, and it can also seed grass, oilseed radish, and canola. And then we have a TS 1520/M3. This is the biggest weeder we have in base game. 15.2 meters, $45,000. Right there. And then, of course, we're using at this point the Hardy Mega 1200L sprayer with herbicide. And you'll see that we are eradicating weeds like there is no tomorrow. The sprayer with herbicide will take care of all weeds of all growth sizes with zero prejudice. Now, I know in my gameplay in Farm Sim 19, I would typically not worry with a weeder because I would never be able to assure that I was going to be able to catch the weeds at the proper growth stage to always get rid of them with a weeder. But what I was able to do is be confident that I would be able to come in with a herbicide sprayer and take care of the weeds that way. So let me go get set up with a potato field, and I'll show you the new potato weeder slash hoe. So we now have a little potato field here with weeds, as you can see. Now I'm going to use the pneumatic star and just see what that does through our potato field. You see, it is doing absolutely nothing. All right, let's back this up. And now let's take a look at the weeder that is specifically designed for potatoes. Let's unfold it. Lower it down. And you can see we are now weeding between the rows. You see our weed layer is vanishing. We'll go ahead and hire a helper and let him do his job. So again, if we look in the shop, under weeders, first we tried the Matastar 900 on a potato field. Didn't do a thing because it's not designed for potatoes. The Chopstar 590 plus Row Guard is what we need to use in order to weed a potato field. And the help text says that this particular weeder, which is referred to as a hoe, is good for small and medium weeds. Sounds like we're still going to need to use a sprayer to get rid of the tall, mature weeds like we see here in this withered oat field. But we'll be able to use the Chopstar to remove small and medium sized weeds from a potato field. So guys, that is the basic rundown on weeds and Farming Simulator 22. Weeds are a bit more sophisticated than they were in 19. In 19, weeds had two growth stages, small and large. And in a small growth stage, weeders could eliminate all of the weeds. But now in Farm Sim 22, weeds appear to have three stages: small, medium, and large. And weeders as a whole are only able to remove small weeds. So in order for them to be most effective, we need to get in early to get rid of them. Or we use a herbicide sprayer. So until next time, happy farming.